Now, it would seem pretty logical that buying a 225,000 mile car for nearly $10,000 would be almost crazy by a logical person's estimation, and I have a hard time disagreeing with you. Unless that 225,000 mile car is a Toyota Land Cruiser, perhaps the single best built vehicle that's ever been made. And I don't mean that facetiously just because we have one. It really is considered the single best, at least in the world of sport utilities, and maybe of all vehicles, it's the best that's ever been. It's a car that doesn't make a lot of money for Toyota because they invest so much in it. Their quality controls are absolutely second to none, including anything else that Toyota sells. Ask anybody, read any review, you almost can't break them. They're just an amazing vehicle. And one of the problems that we have finding older Land Cruisers is that they tend to get exported to countries that don't have a lot of access to Land Cruisers, particularly Canada and Russia. Those seem to be, in our years here, the two most likely homes for exporting these vehicles, because people don't really care about the miles so much. You know, if you're going to change the gauge assembly on it and it's going to read 0 miles, obviously people are going to look at that very skeptically and say, hey, am I buying some high mile vehicle? It's harder to do in most cases unless the car is a real stand-up vehicle that people feel, hey, I don't care what the miles are, I'm happy paying good money for this vehicle, and do it at a price that's worthwhile for a broker to actually bring the car, pay the taxes, and do the things that need to be done to bring that vehicle to a foreign land. And so in the case of Toyota Land Cruisers, if you find one that's affordable, that's a really nice car, even if it has high miles, you can drive this car for 30, 40, 50,000 miles and sell it for most of what you bought it for. So instead of looking at it from a point of, well, 10 grand for a 225,000 mile car, I have to be a knucklehead to pay that kind of money, you can look at it as, gosh, for a couple of grand, I could drive this car for a few years, and they might even be fairly trouble-free years, as crazy as that is, making this maybe the single best value that there is out there if you look at resale as part of the equation. Now, this car is a 3-owner car according to the Carfax with 43 service records, so it does indicate some kind of accident. We can look around the car and discern what that's all about way back in 2002, but the 43 service records, the Carfax in fact says that the car is worth $2,000 above retail Blue Book, since Carfax and Blue Book are now the same company. I guess they have some way of quantifying this sort of thing. Believe it or not, though, Blue Book retail on this car is $13,000. So by Blue Book Carfax's estimation, this car is actually worth $15,000, even with the 225,000 miles. It's unbelievable. If I pop the hood on this one, I can see it's got the factory Toyota sticker. If you've done a lot of business with Toyotas in the past, you know you're always looking for that sticker on top of the engine case that shows if the timing belt has been replaced. It was replaced at 147,000 miles in 2008 for what that's worth. And then if I look around the car, yeah, I see some scratches and stuff like that. Of course, this car's 13, 14 years old, but the tires look great. The paint's actually in excellent condition. It could definitely use a little airbrush. It's got a little chatter up here and what have you. But overall, if you've looked at enough 2000 Land Cruisers, this is actually a really, really nice car. Come taking a look around, what really stands out is the interior on this car. This is just as we've taken it in. Yes, we own Kirkland Detail, so we have detailed the car. But the interior for an original condition car, I mean, it looks amazing. I mean, it looks fantastic. And so, obviously popular with families who have dogs. You see a lot of these, the car might be a nice running car, but the interior is just thrashed. And no, that's not the case at all. This car is really nice. I mean, 99% of the people in this world would be thrilled to drive this car every single day and feel proud that they've invested their money wisely. This is actually very, very nice. Now, in 2000, a few changes, not that many, but the leather is standard in 2000. Also moonroof in 2000. If you get a third row seat's actually optional. You get dual air conditioning, so you'll see a whole secondary chamber of vents in the back there. But the third row seat is, although it's optional, it's kind of mandatory. The one thing that does limit Land Cruisers and makes them a little bit more challenging to sell is if they lack that feature of the third row seat. The reason is a big family vehicle. Families they need what they need, and third row seats, that's one thing that makes this vehicle such a hit, is it's not overly big, but still accommodates 7 people or even 8 in a pinch with fairly good comfort. Even in the third row seat, it's a small third row seat, but not so small as some of these new micro type sport utilities, where it's just such a tight fitting third row seat that it's pointless. One great feature, you'll hear a lot of people complain that these seats, the way that they're split, and then you have to kind of clip them up there, that they don't like that feature. I owned a 2000 Land Cruiser for several years, and I loved that feature. The reason is because it's so easy to take one of the seats out or just flip it to the side. So if I'm at Costco and I just have a bunch of stuff and I need to kind of orient things in a funky way, it's nice that I can take these seats and flip them up out of the way, or I can just leave one in the garage and put it back in later, or I can leave both in the garage and put them back later. It actually is a pretty neat feature, and I'm glad that a lot of the Toyota and Lexus products still use that feature. I'm taking a look around the passenger side. Again, it's in really nice shape. You could say, well, it's got some scratches. I mean, you're only kidding yourself if you think you're finding a 13-year-old car that's utterly flawless. But again, this car's $3,000 below Blue Book without taking into consideration the Carfax ad. It's nice. I mean, it's really nice. Let's take a look inside. The traction system is different on 2000s than it is on other years. It's considered an advance. And so I don't remember my own personal 2000 Land Cruiser having anything different than, we've owned other Land Cruisers in the past as well, but I would say this, I live on a hill in Woodinville, and I've lived there for many years. And this car in the snow, in the ice, going down a windy hill when conditions look deplorable, this is the vehicle that you want to be in. It's unique kind of density of weight. It just seems like a lot of cars, the weight is distributed around the car in such a way that in the snow, in a hill, cars that you would think do well in the snow do not do well at all. Where this, from my experience, and I live on a steep hill that can be very, very icy, this is the single best vehicle we've ever owned, and we've owned QX56s and Escalades and everything else. This is the best off-road vehicle or bad weather or bad condition vehicle I have ever owned. Again, it purrs like a kitten. I mean, I'm not saying that facetiously. I turn it on, it's whisper quiet, and it feels great. The idle's really nice. Again, those 43 service records are no joke. It's a really cool car and a neat opportunity for somebody who likes something that's different than what everybody else has. Quality comes first, resale value comes second. If that's you, this is a really neat opportunity for you. If you have any questions about this car, if you'd like to see a shop report or anything like that, please don't hesitate to give me a call. My name's Joe Tunney here at Infiniti of Kirkland. You can reach me anytime at 425-821-1600, or just drop me an email at joet@infinitiofkirkland.com.